Hey friends, Gary here. Welcome to today's video. I just went back from a quick vacation to Singapore, and in today's video I want to share about a little bit of my trip in general, about some interesting things that were happening when I was there, and also to share a little bit about how my Micro Four Thirds camera and lenses performed during this particular trip, with some twists that I didn't expect that I will explain at the end of this video. Now, a few days ago, I made a video about what I originally packed for this Singapore trip, my cameras, lenses, accessories. But there's been a little bit of changes here and there that I will also explain in this video. You might want to check out that video right here. But anyway, grab your favorite snacks, grab your favorite drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy today's Singapore trip video. Anyway, let's begin with the background of this Singapore trip. First of all, photography isn't the main purpose of this particular trip. This is just a quick vacation. Me, my wife, my dad, my sister with her family. And also, I didn't really have any plan about what I want to do in Singapore, where I want to visit. We were just kind of winging it. So what actually happened during the trip is a little bit of window shopping, a little bit of cafe hopping, finding some yummy food, drinks and snacks, things like that. The trip itself was about 5 days. We visited some places such as Sentosa Island, Orchard Road, Maxwell, Haji Lane, Marina Bay Sands, and some other places, including the occasional visits to some local restaurants, bubble tea shops, coffee shops, and other interesting places. Now, Singapore, being a busy metropolitan city, is an urban destination, and that means plenty of opportunities for urban photography, which usually means street photography and also a little bit of scenery. But this time I don't want to be too fussy about photography. I want to be present. I want to enjoy the trip. I want to really make time for myself and for my wife to get away from all of the distractions and the stress and things like that. We just want to enjoy our time. So what I want to do with photography this time is just to focus on capturing everyday moments. Maybe they're just some simple stuffs, but I want to make sure that these things that I capture will be the memorable moments that I will remember from this trip. Now, talking a little bit about gear choices. Originally, I wanted to bring all prime lens setup with my Panasonic Leica 25mm f1.4 and also a wide angle Panasonic Leica 9mm f1.7, normal wide Panasonic Leica 15mm f1.7, and also a tele prime Olympus 45mm f1.8. But at last minute, I swapped out the Olympus 45 with a zoom lens Panasonic Lumix 35 to 100mm f4 to f5.6. I will share plenty of sample pictures, please stay tuned. But the reason why I switched to this is because, with the 45mm, you get a mild telephoto focal length, but with the 35 to 100 you can actually zoom all the way to 100. Maybe that will be more useful rather than the Olympus 45mm. That's what I thought at first. Now, the focus on this trip, besides trying to capture some nice photos, some nice moments with my wife, with my family, I wanna learn more about the Panasonic Leica 25mm f1.4. I struggle a lot with 25mm focal length. I just don't think it is intuitive. I want to fight it. I want to master this focal length, and that's one of the hidden agenda of this particular trip. So yeah, that makes the Panasonic Leica 25mm the de facto primary lens that I use the most in this particular trip. Now, before we go further and talk about lenses and show you some photos captured in Singapore, let's talk quickly about the camera that I use for this Singapore trip. Usually, if you followed my channel, I love to bring two cameras so I can have multiple focal lengths ready at the same time. But this time I only bring one camera, and that is the Panasonic Lumix G100. That's it, no secondary camera. Actually, I'm very happy with the G100 as a travel camera. I think it performed really well in terms of photography to capture photos. I enjoyed the image quality of the sensor of the G100, and also the control of the camera is pretty nice for a small travel camera. Usually with travel camera, you have compromises such as lack of handling, lack of grip, that kind of stuff. But with the G100, it's not a problem at all. The shutter is positioned a little bit to the front, making it easier for me to press it. And then also there's this grip right here, which makes it very easy to handle the camera. There are plenty of buttons and dials to operate this camera manually, and I really love that. Now, speaking about just using one camera, that means lens changing, and that can be annoying sometimes, especially if I want to quickly switch between focal lengths. That's just not possible. I have to stop in the middle of the road, change the lenses, that kind of stuff. But anyway, again, as I mentioned before, I want to learn to use the 25mm lens, so lens changing was surprisingly very minimal. I usually just stick to my 25mm lens most of the time. Now let's specifically talk about the Panasonic Leica 25mm f1.4, and while I'm talking about this lens, allow me to share some photos captured with this lens. First, let's talk about my findings regarding about portrait, and I think the Panasonic Leica 25mm is a great lens for portrait, environmental portrait, things like that. Portrait of my wife looks amazing with this lens. I think that is because of the large f1.4 aperture, making the background blur looks very dreamy without too much effort, in combination with the slightly zoomed in 25mm focal lengths that I'm not really used, to be honest. So yeah, I really enjoy portraits with this lens so much. Next, let's talk about portrait photography, and first, it feels very challenging. I cannot really quite understand 25mm. I don't think it is that zoomed in like a telephoto lens, but it's also not a wide lens. It's somewhere in the middle, and sometimes it's confusing. And for street photography, that means I cannot really understand the best distance that I should have between me and my subject so that I can get the best proportions and shots. But towards the end of the trip, everything started to make sense. I think the lens performed well if I stayed about 10 meters away from my subject, or slightly more than that. Because before I used the 25mm, I love to use wider focal lengths such as 14 or 15mm for street photography. And with those kind of lenses, I need to be about just 5 meters away from my subject to get the best composition. And I'm already used to that, so I need a little bit of adjusting with the 25mm. Next, let's talk about scenery photography, and I also struggle with scenery with the 25mm. Again, it's not wide, it's not tele, so capturing cityscapes, sceneries in general require a little bit more creativity. I need to use more foregrounds, frame within frames, or just focusing on the most impactful part of the scenery in order to get the best result. Now let's talk a little bit about everyday moments, and I think this is where the 25mm really shines. It makes things look great. Coffee shots, food photography, and photographing some mundane objects that I found while I was walking. I think that's the strong suit of the Panasonic Leica 25mm. Again, with the combination of the slightly zoomed in focal length and the large aperture, everything just looked nice, dreamy, more focused. They have more pop, and they just, look better compared to if you are using something wider with slightly smaller aperture. Now, here's something very interesting about the 25mm lens that I want to share. Okay, hear me out. The struggle to understand the 25mm focal length is actually part of its enjoyment. I mean, this sounds weird. Who wants to struggle? You just want to be happy, right? But by struggling a little bit to learn more, to master the 25mm, I found out that I got more satisfaction using this lens. Because of the challenge, it's not too hard, it's still doable, but again, it is still a challenge, and being able to overcome that challenge just overall makes me happier. I'm not quite sure I understand the science behind this, but going a little bit out of my comfort zone turns out to be the best thing about the Panasonic Leica 25mm, and that's why I like this lens so much. Now let's move on to the Panasonic Leica 9mm f1.7, and this lens did get used briefly a little bit for selfie with my wife and also for wide cityscape of Singapore skylines, and I think it performed really well for those situations. But again, because I was focusing so much on the Panasonic Leica 25mm, the 9mm didn't really get used that much. The 35 to 100 also get used briefly for some tele shots of iconic sceneries in Singapore and also for a little bit of wildlife while we were exploring nearby parks. But other than that, I don't really use it that much, again because I was focusing so much on the 25mm lens. Now here's the twist that I mentioned in the beginning of this video, the Panasonic Leica 15mm. Surprisingly, I didn't use this lens at all, 0%, no shot at all taken using this fantastic, amazing lens that I love so much. If you are a follower of my channel, you know that this is my favorite lens and I can just survive on a trip with just this one single lens to capture everything. For example, my trip to Bali in 2024, I was just using this guy, and in combination with some lenses of course, but this was my primary lens. But for this trip, I didn't use it at all, and that kind of surprised me because I thought, oh, I will just give up using the 25mm because it was so difficult and I will just fall back into my comfort zone, which is the 14-15mm lens like this one. But no, not at all. That kind of surprised me in a good way, I think, because now I already learned how to use 25mm. Now I have a different tool that I can use to get different kind of result to broaden my photography perspective a little bit. Other gear, my DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I finally brought this camera to Singapore with the intention of recording video with this guy, but I ended up not using this camera at all to record video. I was just using my phone to record B-rolls, but I did not record any talking head video, any vlogs, things like that while I was in Singapore because again, I want to be present. I don't want to waste moments while I was there. So I'm very sorry that I don't record any vlogs while I was there or any POV kind of tutorials that I usually made on my channel. But yeah, again, I want to be intentional. I want to just slow down and focus on my trip and be present. So yeah, Pocket 3 didn't get used at all. I used my phone mostly for recording B-rolls. Some of those B-rolls I already showed in this video and I think it is quite nice. I also used my phone to capture snapshots. Nothing, crazy like keeper quality, but just some random shots that I want to document using my phone. Camera bag. Originally, I brought the Alpaka Go Sling for the Singapore trip. This is not a photography bag, this is just a regular sling bag, but it has a nice large capacity, which I really love because for travel, I'm not only carrying my cameras and lenses, but I also need to carry my passport, my EDC stuff like power banks, cables, and also other important stuff. So yeah, it performed really well. It has great capacity, it's very comfortable to use, and more importantly, it is weather resistant, and also the design is very inconspicuous. It doesn't scream camera bag, so I don't attract any attention from pickpockets and that kind of stuff, and that's just lovely. And while I was in Singapore, I ended up purchasing a smaller Alpaka Go Sling Mini version 2. I already have the version 1. This is like the smaller version of the Go Sling. As you can see, it's kind of smaller and I like it. I can still carry my camera gear inside of this bag, especially if I just want a streamlined version of my setup. Probably just the G100 with the Panasonic Leica 25mm and an extra lens. Not everything that I carry. Yeah, it's more than enough. The bag is slim, slick. It also has the same great stealthy, inconspicuous design. It is very comfortable, it is weather resistant, and I love it so much. So yeah, this video is not sponsored by Alpaka at all, and this guy I bought it with my own money. But if you are interested with any of the Alpaka gear that I mentioned or any other Alpaka product, you can use the affiliate links right here to get some special discount, while at the same time I get a small kickback to keep this channel running in the future. And that wraps up today's video. So this is my Singapore trip report, how my Micro Four Thirds camera and lenses performed during the trip. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully this is inspiring. Hopefully you'll be able to come up with your own tightly dialed in camera and lens setup for your next trip. Anyway, enough about me. What about you guys? I wanna hear from you as well. What's your favorite place to travel so far, and what camera and lenses that you brought during that trip? Please share down below. I love to hear from you. I love to learn from you. So please comment down below. Anyway, I want to invite you to join the collective gallery. Share your best travel shots or any shots in that matter, and let's do less gear talk and take more pictures, have more fun. And you can visit this link right here if you want to submit your photo, and I will feature them on the next collective gallery episode. Anyway, don't forget to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video, subscribing to my channel down below. And if you want to support my work even further, you can be a paid member of my Patreon, where you get full access to my tutorials, to my Lightroom presets, and you can also download my photos for your phone background or desktop wallpaper. I just recently released a travel photography video course. I shared all of my knowledge, expertise, experience of doing travel photography for more than 10 years in that 1 hour and 40-minute long video. It's called Simplifying Travel Photography. You can check out the link right here. If you are a member of my Patreon, you will get full access to it from Patreon. If not, you can visit this link right here and do one-time purchase to be able to access that video. I hope that you will like it. That will help me so much if you guys enjoyed that video. Anyway, also, again, as I mentioned before, you can check out the affiliate links down below. You will get some discount on select products and services, and at the same time I will get a small kickback to keep this channel running in the future. And also, maybe you want to use the super thanks button to make a small donation to my channel. Thank you very much, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you and goodbye.